Roger, Charlie, we're ready to rock.
So last week I was on TikTok, lo and behold, and someone talked about the beauty of being single and free after the age of 40. And of course, where did my brain go? Oh boy. Yep, I had to look at the opposite side of the coin, at which point I started asking myself, well, I mean, it'd be nice to have that knight in shining armor on that white horse, that beautiful prince. But then I thought, okay, I know better than that. We all know better than that. But how come I can't act better than that?
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
And then someone answered my comment with one word, and that word is conditioning. Yep, that's it. It's all about that conditioning, and this is what this episode is going to dissect for you, because we know better, but we just can't help it.
Hands together across the way. Night turns into brighter days. Battle scars, but we're alive. Through it all, we rise, survive.
All right, you're going to be able to recite the entire syllabus of healthy attachment because you know the language.
Breaking the night, chasing the
You know it's about security, consistency, emotional availability. You know that you're looking for the guy that shows up when he says he'll show up. You could teach the damn seminar. And then it shows up. A man texts back within the hour. He says what he means. There's no guessing game, no 3 a.m. spiral, no checking if he's online. And what do you feel? Nada. Nothing. Or worse than nothing, a flicker of suspicion. A faint, embarrassing boredom, like you've been handed decaf and told to be grateful. That gap between what you understand and what you actually want is this entire episode. And most people assume it's a willpower problem.
Huh?
And it is not. It's an architecture problem. Two completely different systems are running your love life, and only one of them ever got the memo about what's actually good for you. This isn't really about Disney. Disney is just the delivery vehicle. The target was your brain, and the brain doesn't know the difference between a fairy tale and a forecast. A sexologist named, this is his name, John Money, spent decades studying how people end up wanting exactly what they want, and he landed on a concept he called the love map. It's a template laid down mostly in early childhood that quietly specifies who and what counts as desirable for the rest of your sordid life. Clinicians who treat attachment and intimacy issues will tell you something unsettling about the timing. That map is largely sketched out by the time you are 5 or 6. Y'all, we're all screwed.
Oh no, they's doing gay jokes without me.
Not when you start dating, and not when you get your heart broken for the first time at whatever, 16, or years before any of that. So, while you were busy learning the alphabet, your nervous system was busy doing something far more consequential, apparently. It was pairing the feeling of love with a specific cluster of ingredients. Certainty resolved at the last possible second, rescue, a near miss, intensity standing in for meaning. Every Disney princess, every rom-com, every will they, won't they finale was actual rehearsal, not for romance, for a prediction model. And that's the key reframe for today. Attraction is not a belief you hold. It's a prediction engine you built before you have the language or the legal standing to consent to it.
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
Now, this is the part that made me furious because it explains why therapy, books, and 3 years of journaling haven't solved this for you or me. Insight lives in the cortex. It's articulate, reasonable, up to date on attachment theory. Attraction does not live there. Attraction runs on a much older, much dumber circuit built for prediction and reward. And the neuroscience on this is really strange. Researchers studying dopamine, going back to Wolfram Schultz's work with monkeys and reward cues, found that dopamine doesn't spike at the reward itself. It spikes at the unpredictability of the reward, the not knowing, the gap between what you expected and what actually happened. Now, translate that into a human dating life, and you get something weird. The brain's pleasure chemical is more interested in the question mark than the answer. A man who is consistent closes the loop way too fast. There's no gap for the dopamine to live in. A man who is warm, then cold, then warm again, who leaves you doing math on his texting patterns, keeps the loop open indefinitely. That open loop feels like chemistry. It is, more accurately, a brain running its favorite old experiment. So, you end up in a very specific kind of trap. Logically correct, emotionally obsolete. You can explain in full clinical detail why the unavailable one is bad for you, while your body is already rehearsing what you'll wear the next time he texts. Knowing the script does not exempt you from performing it. That's just what a prediction engine does when nobody's gone in and retrained it.
Unusual Practice with host Charlie explores cultural healing through hidden histories, unconventional ideas, and fresh perspectives that challenge the way we think. In each concise episode, deep insights unfold in minutes, transforming years of wisdom into sharp takeaways you can carry into everyday conversations. It's not just about knowledge, it's about restoring how we connect with each other, with our past, and with the world around us. Unusual Practice designed to spark dialogue that heals as much as it provokes.
So, Gen Xers, if you're out there listening, I'm going to tell you this. If you grew up in the 70s, 80s, or 90s, you got a particularly potent dose because the culture hadn't yet developed any of the language to push back on it. You had Disney in the early years, then MTV, and then the rom-com boom right on schedule for adolescence, an entire genre built on the idea that the right gesture, the boombox outside the window, the airport run, the rain-soaked confession proves love more reliably than 10 years of someone simply being decent to you. Pretty Woman? Early dating culture for that generation ran almost entirely on ambiguity. No read receipts, no clarity, just a landline and a prayer. Intensity and uncertainty weren't a red flag. They were the entire format. Then, adulthood handed you therapy speak, self-awareness culture, the vocabulary of attachment styles and love languages, and absolutely none of the rewiring. So now you're fluent in psychology and still emotionally governed by a 13-year-old's media diet. You can say the word anxious avoidant in a sentence. Your nervous system has never heard of it. This is, by the way, an excellent argument for why so many extremely self-aware, extremely successful people keep dating the same damn disaster in a slightly different outfit. It was never a knowledge gap. It's a hardware-software mismatch, and no amount of new software fixes hardware that was soldered in during the Clinton administration. So here's where I lose some of you, and that's okay. I'm fine with that. But if I were you, stick with me because I really had to look deep to figure this out. You see, chemistry, as most people experience it, often isn't compatibility. We kind of know that by now. It's familiarity wearing a costume. Your body recognizes the pattern before your mind does, and it mislabels recognition as fate. The "this feels like destiny" sensation people chase for decades is frequently nothing more than accurate pattern recognition of an old, well worn template dressed up as a cosmic sign. There's a related concept worth knowing the name of, and it's called limerence. It's coined by the psychologist Dorothy Tenoff, who describes an involuntary, almost obsessive infatuation, intrusive thoughts about one specific person, mood entirely hostage to whether they texted back, a euphoria and despair cycle that has nothing to do with how good the relationship actually is. People mistake limerence for love constantly, partly because it's the only version of love their template was trained to recognize as real. Calm doesn't trigger it. Calm doesn't even register on the instrument.
Ah, my little darling, it is love at first sight, is it not? No?
Which is why stable relationships can feel on a gut level like a mistake. Not because they are one, but because they don't match the old recording. So here's the line I want you to sit with. You are not choosing love when you feel that pull. You are recognizing old code and mistaking the recognition for a verdict. Now, this is the part everyone skips, and it's the only part that actually matters, so stay with me. Awareness is stage one, and it's the stage most personal development content stops at, which is exactly why so much of it works for about 3 weeks and then quietly fails. Awareness tells you what's happening. It doesn't move the furniture. Stage two is repetition. Plain and unglamorous, repeated, lived exposure to the kind of attachment that doesn't spike, doesn't text and vanish, doesn't require interpretation. Not a single good relationship, a pattern of them, long enough for the nervous system to start building a competing prediction. Oh my God. You mean I got to keep on doing this over and over and over again?
Oh no, the car exploded.
Now, stage three is the part that nobody warns you about. And it's the reason most people quietly sabotage the good thing before stage two ever finishes. There has to be a tolerable amount of withdrawal. Low drama genuinely registers at first as low meaning. Your system has spent years equating intensity with significance. So when the intensity disappears, some part of you reads it as the relationship disappearing too. That ache isn't proof the relationship is wrong. It's withdrawal from a substance you didn't know you'd been on. Now, given enough repetition and enough tolerance for that specific discomfort, attraction does recalibrate slowly and with zero applause. Be aware, but it does. The brain that learned to crave a flickering light can learn to settle into a steady one. It just won't thank you for the transition while it's happening. People love to say the problem is that we still believe in fairy tales, and I'm definitely one of them because, come on. How else am I going to explain this? And I think that is generous, but it's also slightly off. The real problem is that almost nobody notices the exact moment reality starts to feel like a downgrade from the story.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
That feeling, the flatness, the boredom, the quiet itch that something's missing when actually nothing is wrong isn't information about your relationship. It's the conditioning talking. It's a 30-year-old prediction model filing a complaint because the new data doesn't match its forecast. I'm not going to tell you that once you know this, it stops happening, because it does not. Hello, I'm right here living proof of that. You'll still feel the pull toward the unavailable one. You'll still feel a strange flatness in front of someone who's simply, unremarkably great to you. The map doesn't get deleted because you finally read the manual. What changes is smaller and frankly less satisfying than a breakthrough. You get to ask one extra question before you act. Is this love? Or is this just the oldest, most familiar prediction I have? Some days you still won't know.
Breaking the night,
Smash the like button.
chasing the light, world spins wide open.
That's just what it costs to be a person who was handed a script before she could ever read it. Here's what I'm not going to do. Tell you that self-love fixes this, or that the right affirmation requires 40 years of conditioning before bedtime. But I will tell you this. You do not owe the 8-year-old who built this template your loyalty. She did the best she could with a VHS tape and zero consent. You're allowed to keep what's useful and burn the rest. So the next time stable feels like a downgrade, ask the question anyway. Then do the harder, less cinematic thing and stay. Until next week, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This is Charlie signing out.
Mom, somebody just followed me.